I like to drive test vehicles as far as I can, but this MDX was different. I drove one all the way from Vancouver, BC to Las Vegas and back, a distance of 5,000 kilometers. It was quite a test, I can tell you. Every motorist has their own notion of what constitutes the ideal long-distance touring vehicle. Of course, it depends on whether the trip involves a large family, a group of friends, or just a couple traveling light. I was faced with this choice over New Year's when we decided to drive down to Las Vegas for a family wedding, a round trip of over 5,000 kilometers. My choice of the MDX was based on the very same points that influence most buyers of vehicles like this. You get a nice high commanding driving position, which means a safer view of the traffic and scenery. A really good all-wheel drive system meant that if we did encounter bad weather on any mountain passes, we'd probably make it through without a problem. The all-wheel drive system uses the same SH technology you'll find in the RL luxury sedan. It'll keep you out of trouble in all kinds of road conditions, and you won't even know it's there. Added to this was the comfort and refinement you get with a vehicle in this class. No luxury sedan could have offered a better ride or a more relaxing way of spending 10 or 12 hours a day at the wheel than this MDX. And that's the big plus about SUVs in this particular segment. The MDX has moved up market quite a bit with the all-new 2007 model, and it's almost in the Mercedes M-Class ballpark now. On the downside, a new MDX will probably cost you a lot more than you expected, given the prices of earlier versions. Power comes from an impressively refined 3.7-litre V6, developing 300 horsepower. It's a very responsive unit and provides the kind of snap you'd expect in a decent sports coupe. The transmission is a 5-speed automatic with a manual mode now common in this price bracket. I just love the look of these new Acuras. It's got a very wide track to it, has a very nice stance. This is very dramatic here, maybe a bit too dramatic. I don't know whether all this rather fussy trim here is needed. Along the side of the vehicle, we've got these turn signals built into the mirrors. Now, these are a very good safety feature. I think they're great for pedestrians. People walking around intersections can see which way the vehicle is going. Now, one of the things about this type of vehicle is that it's got 3 rows of seats, like a lot of crossovers do. And it gives you an enormous amount of space in the back. One thing about Acura is the quality of the interior is as good as it gets. Everything is a nice soft touch material, none of that scratchy hard plastic. It looks very good, there's a good ambience about it. The whole thing feels very solid. The controls are scattered around a little bit in the cockpit. There are controls here, there are controls here, there are controls up here. There's lots of controls on the steering wheel, maybe a record number, but sooner or later you get familiar with them. The instrument panel itself is just a model of really good visual design. I mean, it's so easy to read. The seating is very comfortable, and if you do 1,200 clicks a day, you'll soon find out if it's not. The vehicle has lots of response, lots of pickup. It's a great vehicle to climb mountain passes in. Very powerful engine. A real pleasure to drive on a touring run. The MDX's navigation system proved just how useful these units can be on a long run. It's not that finding one's way along endless kilometers of interstate highways is a problem, but inputting hotels scheduled for visits on the trip saved a lot of time. The vehicle ran flawlessly throughout the 5,000 kilometers and used a lot less fuel than I would have expected from a powerful, responsive vehicle. This kind of economy is a common characteristic of new vehicles of all types nowadays. Most of our driving was done over 4 days, and the MDX used no oil at all. Incidentally, the MDX is rated to tow 5,000 pounds, which is unusual in this segment. Most owners won't tow with their MDX. The torque is nice to have anyway. The price range for a 2007 MDX runs from $52,300 to just under $62,000. Sport utility vehicles are often criticized by people who have never used one for a trip like this, but our adventure with the Acura brought home to me why these rigs are so popular. They can be all things to all people, and there's not much more you can ask from your new set of wheels than that. Would I choose an MDX again for a drive like that? I'd do it in a minute. And if you ever want to do a very, very long drive, 5,000 kilometers or something like that, you'd find this one very dependable. If you go to Vegas, though, just don't lose it in a card game. For the new driver's seat, I'm Tony Whitney.